Nicola Willis is warning supermarkets she could impose harsher penalties when it comes to misleading price claims. The Economic Growth Minister has written to the major players to remind them of their need to comply with the Fair Trading Act.
It's pretty simple, really. The price that's advertised to you at the supermarket or that you see at the aisle should be the same price as you pay at the checkout. Yet, surveys by Consumer New Zealand, court proceedings by the Commerce Commission suggest that's not the case. Two pack and saves in Auckland have just pled guilty to misleading pricing, and there are prosecutions progressing. My concern is this is the most basic stuff. This is a legal obligation for the supermarkets not to mislead their customers, and they're not getting it right. So they should fix it and fix it quick. They're in a multi-billion-dollar sector. They can afford to fix this, and if they care about New Zealand shoppers, they would have had it done yesterday.
Yeah, $27 billion of revenue a year, and I wonder whether the supermarkets are, in essence, ripping Kiwis off because they know they can get away with it because people don't have the time to check all of this when they're at the supermarket.
Well, that's my concern. So if one person notices that they were overcharged for their bag of lemons, I think what should happen is that the supermarket should make sure that they check that isn't happening to other people and they fix it for everyone. But at the moment, what I hear is it's all pretty casual. Someone might make a complaint if they bother to, and there isn't necessarily a fix to the system. It's 2025, Sam. Everyone should be able to have a computer system with electronic ticketing so that this doesn't happen. They should be able to train their staff so they know what to do when it does. And they should advertise really good refund policies so that every Kiwi shopper knows if those guys price me unfairly, I have a right to a refund and to get my money back. If those things happened, it would be fair, and I bet there'd be a whole lot less of it happening.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that it's falling to the likes of Consumer NZ, for example, to pick up on this, and that the punishments aren't as harsh as they could be. So currently, the punishment for misleading pricing is only around $600,000 per breach. You put that into perspective with Australia, and it's 50 million. So are you going to match Australia's fine to get a better deal for Kiwis?
Yeah, well, look, there's two problems. The first problem is that historically the Commerce Commission hasn't brought many prosecutions because it's very difficult to do. So that's one issue I want to look at. Do we need to make changes in the law to make it easier to punish supermarkets when they make these breaches? And then the second issue is I'm suspicious that the fine isn't enough of a threat right now to actually make them invest in the changes needed. And as you say, in Australia, fines can be up to $50 million. 600K is the maximum here, but the courts don't even always impose that. So I am considering whether we just lift the fines considerably in the Act so that the supermarkets can see financially this isn't worth it. I think morally they should feel an obligation, but if we have to use the financial stick, I'm prepared to.
Okay, and would that stick look like a $50 million fine?
Well, I think it looks much closer to that Australian number than to New Zealand's little minnow number.
Can you give us a ballpark figure? Would it be in the tens of millions?
600K to 50 million? Well, I will take advice to Cabinet, and Cabinet will make a decision. But yeah, I think tens of millions is more like it.
Okay. Just finally, look, the crackdown on supermarkets, this has long been talked about. You've written multiple letters, you've put the supermarkets on notice, but when will we actually see some results here? When will shoppers ever see prices come down when they go to get their groceries?
Well, this is the thing, Sam. I shouldn't have to write a letter to one of the most sophisticated retailers in New Zealand to say, could you please obey the law? And what I find is every time we talk about the supermarkets, they come out and say, oh, look, we're doing everything right and we're doing our best job for Kiwi shoppers. So part of my job is to hold them accountable and to make clear to New Zealanders when they're being let down so that they actually get up and fix it. But then the second part, as you say, is making sure that where we need to change the law, like these fines in the Fair Trading Act, we do. So this is one issue, Sam, but you're right, there are lots of issues in the supermarket sector, and I have a large work program. I took advice from a number of people in New Zealand in the grocery sector through a request for information. There's some big themes coming through that. I will shortly be taking recommendations to Cabinet about next steps, and you can expect that there is going to be a lot more being heard from me about where the supermarkets need to change.